Now at 10, authorities filed charges against two people in a police chase turned car crash in Joplin. Plus, what you might not know about the process for electing a president in your state. And the city of Girard, Kansas gets a makeover for some of its sidewalks.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Joplin police released new information on a crash stemming from a traffic stop yesterday, including fresh charges. This is KOAM News at 10. I'm Dow Quick. Officers tried to stop a car when they suspected the driver was intoxicated. Police pursued the car, but the chase ended when the car crashed with another one at the intersection of 20th and Connecticut. The driver of that other vehicle suffered minor injuries. Police arrested both driver and passenger in the fleeing car. Authorities say the driver, Dakota Bell of Alba, Missouri, is formally charged with Valentine's Law, which is aggravated fleeing a stop, in addition to felony DWI and persistent and felony possession of drug paraphernalia. The passenger, Jessica Van Kirk of Webb City, was arrested on active felony probation violation warrants for drug-related charges. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy now for a first look at the weather.
Yeah, and it turned out to be a hot one outside for us today. In fact, we tied a record high of 92 degrees set back in 2006, so well above where we should be for this time of the year. Average high is 76 degrees. Let's go outside right now. It's 71 in Joplin, 73 in Pittsburgh, 69 in Stockton, 76 Anderson, 75 in Bonita. Neodesha is checking in at 77 degrees. Are we going to get some relief from the extreme record heat early October? Not really. Lower 90s for highs tomorrow. Let's go into Saturday. Lower 90s for highs once again, so it stays kind of hot. Pretty much clear skies. There's not much going on across the Central Plains. Pretty quiet for us tonight. 71 here shortly, 62 for a low, back to 77 by 10 a.m. Of course, we're going to look at the weekend forecast here in just a bit.
See you soon. November 5th is going to see voters heading to the polls to decide the next president, of course. But on Election Day, are you really voting for a candidate or are you voting for a party? Some states, like Missouri and Kansas, list only the presidential candidates on the ballots. Others, like Oklahoma, make it clear that voters are technically selecting the electors who will participate in the Electoral College. Election officials say they're not truly voting for the next commander-in-chief.
When we vote in November, we will be voting to decide which party gets to choose our president. Is really what happens.
Next week, we're going to continue our conversation with Secretary Ashcroft, learning more about how election results are certified. In 2020, Liz Cheney criticized Kamala Harris as a radical liberal. Tonight, the former Wyoming Republican Congresswoman officially backed the Democratic vice president's bid for the White House during a rally in Wisconsin. Meanwhile, former President Donald Trump was also on the campaign trail in the battleground state of Michigan. Bradley Blackburn has the latest now from the campaign trail.
Campaigning in Wisconsin Thursday night, Vice President Kamala Harris received an official endorsement from former GOP lawmaker Liz Cheney.
I tell you, I have never voted for a Democrat, but this year I am proudly casting my vote for Vice President Kamala Harris. She's working to unite reasonable people from all across the political spectrum.
There is actually an honest question about whether one of the candidates will uphold the oath to the Constitution of the United States.
Cheney was the top GOP member of the committee that investigated the January 6th Capitol insurrection, focusing on the actions of former President Donald Trump.
He praised the rioters. He did not condemn them.
After breaking with Republican ranks, Cheney lost her House seat in a congressional primary. At a rally in Michigan, Trump spoke for about an hour and a half.
We are going to defeat Lion Kamala Harris, one of the worst candidates ever. We've never had a candidate like that. And how about the vice president? That's going to be president someday? I don't think so.
When asked at the White House, President Biden said he's not surprised the presidential race remains tight, saying he thinks Harris is, quote, going to do fine. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Harris has vowed to sign a bill making abortion legal nationwide if elected. The city of Girard is working on a project to create safer, more walkable sidewalks. They plan to repair sidewalks, build new ones, and create ramps. They want to make the sidewalks ADA compliant and safe for all residents, including people who use wheelchairs or have other disabilities.
I actually attended the Special Olympics yesterday, and I was there talking to some of the participants and their parents, and they were really excited to hear that the city was making efforts to install ADA compliant sidewalks throughout town.
The locations that plan to work on include West St. John Street and West Prairie Street. Today, 40 students from Pittsburgh Community Middle School's Builders Club spread rubber mulch around the playground at the Franklin Community Park. Before today, the playground surface was wood. The park hopes this effort will create a safer play surface for children who come to enjoy the playground. Members of the Carthage High School swim team took a trip to the Mark Twain Elementary School to help some third graders dive into a good book. The team took the opportunity to read to the kiddos before heading off to compete in the Carthage Invitational. The trip to Mark Twain also brought back fond memories for some team members. Investigators in Arkansas announced they have a suspect in the disappearance of a girl almost 30 years ago. That's next. And later, Fort Scott celebrates one of its most famous sons. Arkansas investigators have named a suspect related to the 1995 disappearance of a 6-year-old girl in Alma. This week's announcement comes after advanced DNA testing found new evidence in the suspect's truck. However, the man considered a longtime person of interest died in prison more than 20 years ago. Ashley Lunningham has more.
Her heart, Morgan's heart, shines on.
After years of waiting, the family of Morgan Nick are closer to answers now more than ever. Alma police naming Billy Jack Links as a prime suspect, narrowing it down to one man. Alma Chief of Police Jeff Pointer says that will hopefully help answer key questions.
How was she taken from the ball field? What happened next? Did Links have help in abducting Morgan or concealing his crime all these years? And where is Morgan now?
Pointer says there will be a part-time investigator assigned to this case, interviewing and re-interviewing individuals who might have known Links, but says the community is key to finding out more information to push the case forward.
Someone that knew him, maybe a witness that has never said anything, maybe someone that he told something to that has never told anyone. The information that we've received has been very helpful to this point, but we need more.
Colleen Nick, Morgan's mother, gave an emotional thank you to everyone who had a hand in keeping Morgan's case alive.
He stole Morgan from me. He stole her from her dad. He stole her from Logan and Taryn. But he didn't see that he could never win. Because our love for Morgan, her memory and her voice outlasted his life.
The community there to support the Nick family, including the organization that Colleen helped start, the Morgan Nick Foundation, helping families like hers that go through the same tragedies. Paula Higgins with the organization asks anyone with information that could help to speak up.
If you know anything that can help give this family peace and closure and hope, whatever it is, I just pray that you will feel in your heart to do that.
Billy Jack Links was previously interviewed by investigators in Nick's disappearance. He denied any involvement in the crime and was never arrested. Investigators say the case remains open with Morgan Nick still missing. A little bit later, the annual Grand Lake Pelican Festival takes flight tonight in Grove, Oklahoma.
Plus, after record highs for us today, what are we going to see in the next few days? We're going to look at that coming up. Well, it turned out to be a nice Thursday for us today. A little bit hot. We went into lower 90s, tied a record high, which we don't want to do in October. 90s for highs, and we're going to stick there as we go through the next couple days. Great shot, Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri. All right, it's Thursday. What happens on Thursday? The drought tracker updates. Every week gets a little bit worse. Why? We haven't had any rain. We haven't had much rain over the past couple months. Dry in our northwestern counties. This light brown is a moderate drought. This rusty brown is really most of us under a severe drought, an extreme drought from Veneta to Bartlesville. Things will change by the time we get into the middle of the month, but we still have some time. All right, lower 80s for highs yesterday, and then, of course, tying the record high today, highs into lower 90s. Right now, we're sitting at 77 in Sedan, 74 Grove, 73 Bentonville, Carthage checking in at 70. Outside, 7th and Range Line, 71 south winds, 5 to about 10. The winds have been a little breezy for us today, but overall not bad. We're going to continue to have a south wind at about 5 to 10 tonight and tomorrow, but those winds will start to pick back up, especially as we head into the weekend. So not bad tomorrow, similar to what we saw today. But look at this. Saturday, we're going to have gusts 20, 25, upwards to about 30 miles per hour. All right, clear skies. Not too much is going on for us. The entire Central Plains looking pretty good. We have one little wave moving into the Great Lakes, but this is a whole bunch of nothing, and that nothing is our weather as we go through the next few days. So let me walk you through it. By morning, lower 60s, clear skies, light southerly wind by noon, sitting into the mid-80s. By afternoon, most of us 90, 91, 92 degrees. Now, as you travel farther north, because we do have a weak wind shift line moving through, we're talking about mid to upper 80s, so a little bit better once you get into our northern counties. Clear skies on Friday night. We will drop back into lower 60s, and then once we go into Saturday afternoon, we're going to all go into lower 90s again, so near record highs once again as we go through the next 2 days. 62 to start, 85 by noon. High temp, 91 degrees on your Friday. So let's go into Friday evening. We have 4-state Friday night high school football, holding on to some decent weather. 81 by kickoff, 72 by the end of the games. Not bad, a little warm, but at least we're going to have clear skies and we will stay on the dry side. All right, we are going to start to see some minor changes down the road. We got one wave pushing into the Great Lakes. By Sunday, that will drag a cold front through. But most of next week, we're still dominated by this big dome of high pressure. Now, we're going to get some weak waves that kind of rotate around it and will give us at least slight chances for rain. Then our high pressure breaks down by next weekend. That's going to be the middle of the month, and that's when things start to at least swing back the pendulum the direction we want it to be. All right, 91 tomorrow, 92 Saturday, 87 on Sunday. A little bit cooler on Monday, and then those slight chances for rain, which I hope are better chances as we get closer to it late next week and next weekend.
Yeah, see what you can do about adjusting those upward from 10%, please.
I'll work on it.
Thank you, Doug. That was simple. The Gordon Parks celebration is underway at Fort Scott Community College. Parks grew up in Fort Scott and is remembered as one of the first African Americans to work for Life and Vogue magazines, among other things. KOAM's Lonnie Walton catches up with Parks' family and friends to see why his legacy means so much to the community.
The thing about exposure for young people is them seeing someone do something who looks like them. And I was able to see him be a director and be in the film business.
Kakai Ampa is friends with Gordon Parks. He says Parks' story is essential to the community and the country because prejudice is everywhere.
When our history is being taken out of schools, our history is being threatened to be told in a way other people really want it to be told. So we need to know about not just him, but the stories he covered.
David Parks is Gordon Parks' son. He says he has a strong connection with Fort Scott, but not just because his dad was born here.
I helped form the museum 20 years ago, so helped raise the money, get it organized.
Although Parks never received a degree, he was recognized for his work.
Gordon Parks didn't graduate from high school. Gordon Parks wound up with over 50 honorary doctorate degrees and never graduated from high school. But that was a different time.
Parks hopes his father's life touches all those who come across his story.
Well, he has a hell of a legacy.
Reporting in Fort Scott, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
Events are scheduled through the weekend with the celebration ending on Sunday with a breakfast. Still ahead, Pitt State football prepares to play its first game in a couple of weeks, and Welch High School football tries to remain undefeated. John Dales has those stories and more coming up next.
Pittsburgh State football has its Hall of Fame game this Saturday against Missouri Western. Now, that's the only team that beat the Gorillas in the 2023 regular season, but PSU comes into this contest refreshed after its first of 2 bye weeks.
I think it kind of had a big part on our mental. I think we actually took a lot of time getting ready physically and mentally, obviously. It was a big part in taking care of our bodies. I think it's going to help in the long run. And obviously we get another bye week. I think we're going to take advantage of that too.
Just a sense of urgency. I mean, I think everyone knew, coming off that Washburn game, we had a lot to clean up. So spent a couple days just kind of focusing on us, not a new opponent yet as the staff kind of started to prepare for Mo West and just kind of dove back into some fundamentals in all 3 phases and obviously got some guys healthy and then really started to kind of dive into Mo West towards the end of last week.
Meanwhile, Pittsburgh State volleyball in action tonight. The Gorillas fall to Washburn 3-1. They're back in action tomorrow night at Emporia State. Well, Miami High School softball has a great chance to win a regional championship today. After the Lady War Dogs won their opener yesterday, they need to win just 1 game in 2 tries to become regional champions. Miami looking to win a regional title for the 3rd straight year. Lady War Dogs face Oologah. In the circle for Miami is Danae Green. She's on her game. Pitches a complete game, 7 innings with 4 strikeouts and only gives up 1 hit on the afternoon. Green keeps her team in a close one. Lady War Dogs find themselves in a rubber match. We go to the 3rd inning. Couple runners on base for Hayden Pilkington. She hits this ball off the shortstop's glove. That's an RBI single. Gets the Lady War Dogs on the board. They're up 1-0. Same score into the final inning of the game. Danae Green closes this one out with an infield pop out. That's ball game. Miami completes the shutout. Lady War Dogs win 1-0. They're crowned regional champions once again.
These are the games that we prepare for all year. We preach pitching and defense. Our big postseason games in the past have been 1-2 run games, and so all year practice-wise, that's what we're preaching. Pitching and defense. And yesterday we felt really fortunate to come out and have a really good offensive day, but totally expecting 1-2 run game. And so when it happens, it's normal. Didn't catch us by surprise.
Well, meanwhile, in Class 2A, regionals already took place last week. That means we're on to Super Regionals today. Commerce and Fairland, both of them in action this afternoon. We'll start with Fairland. Lady Owls host Howe. The Super Regionals are best 2 out of 3. The first 2 games coming on day 1. So the Lady Owls fall 3-2 in the opener, but they win game 2 5-4. So the winner take all game 3. That's tomorrow afternoon in Fairland. Commerce down in Stroud. It's an all-Tiger battle for this Super Regional. Commerce drops game 1 10-3. Then in the elimination game falls 11-1. Still a great year though for Commerce, who won their regional to get to this point. Welch High School football on its home field for some Thursday night action. Wildcats are 4-0. They're facing Billings. Opening drive of the game. Mason Clinton takes the snap, rolls out to his left, and he can just walk into the end zone for a touchdown. Wildcats take an early 6-0 lead after scoring on the first drive. Defensively, Welch gets after the quarterback. Brody Smith with nowhere to go. He gets sandwiched between Cash Tucker and Cole Lynch. Couple of names we'd hear a lot in this one. Next Welch drive, Clinton completes the short pass to Cash Tucker. He just had the sack, and now here he is running away from defenders for a long catch and run and a touchdown. Wildcats extend their lead to 14-0. Defense continues to stay strong. High snap here. Then it's Tucker and Lynch once again combining for the sack. A couple of plays later, 4th and long, and Cash Tucker cashes in again on a quarterback sack. Turnover on downs. Welch has the football back, and this time Mason Clinton rolls out to his right. Nothing there, so he's going to reverse field, cut all the way back the other way, get loose for another touchdown run. Welch wins big, 48-0, and improves to 5-0 on the season. We obviously got a bunch more high school games tomorrow night in our game of the week. Seneca is undefeated. They go on the road to Carl Junction, who has just one loss.
A lot of exciting football ahead tomorrow and through the weekend. By the way, I have an update for you on the Falcons-Buccaneers game. Going to overtime.
Wow.
Tied at 30.
Got the field?
Long field goal, about a 53-yarder by the Falcons to send it to OT. We'll be right back. The 41st annual Grand Lake Pelican Festival takes flight in Grove, Oklahoma this week. The event includes the annual fall migration of the American white pelicans return to Grand Lake at the Cherokees, and of course, stuff like this. The 3-day event kicked off tonight with a carnival.
Came to ride the roundup, and I wanted to get some funnel cakes and bring my son down here to ride some rides.
Yeah, rides look like fun. The event will also include a Miss Pelican Festival pageant, a parade, a car show, arts and crafts, food, vendors, and a whole lot more fun for the whole family and presumably, hopefully, some pelicans. If you've never been down there to see the pelicans, you should go. It's quite a sight, and they come in great numbers most years. But of course, predicting exactly when and where is a little bit tricky.
Yeah, that would be.
Unlike the weather, it's pretty predictable right now.
Yeah, and boring. 91 tomorrow, 92 Saturday, so near record highs once again the next couple days. A little bit cooler early next week, and at least some chances for rain on the 10-day.
We'll take some, and that's all we can get. Final sports note.
In our high school football Friday night, another big game. Carthage takes on Joplin this tomorrow.
Whoa, yeah, big rivalry there. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget the morning show starts at 5 a.m., and let's make it a great tomorrow.